are back at the holiest of holy tirthas, ISKCON of 22nd Avenue. Matchless Gifts, the place where it all began.
Yeah.
Hari Hari.
Canto 4, Chapter 28, Text 34.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 34. Just as the moonshine follows the moon at night, immediately after King Malayavaja departed for Kulachala, his devoted wife, whose eyes were very enchanting, followed him, giving up all homely happiness despite family and children.
I think it's pronounced Kulachala.
That's not what he said.
It's not Kulachala.
So it depends where you're from, innit?
No, it depends on reading
So
the
some of his
accent.
friends must have called him
It's
Kula.
K-U-L-A, a long A, Kulachala.
The essence is there.
In perfect essence.
Purport. Just as in the Vanapra stage, the wife follows the husband.
Let's see. Couldn't have had a better verse right there after that incident.
Similarly, when the spiritual master retires for Nirjan Bhajan, some of his advanced devotees follow him and engage in his personal service. In other words, those who are very fond of family life should come forward in the service of the spiritual master and abandon so-called happiness afforded by society, friendship and love. A verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Guru Astaka is significant in this regard. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada. A disciple should always remember that by serving the spiritual master, he can easily advance in Krishna consciousness. All the scriptures recommend that it is by pleasing the spiritual master and serving him directly that one can attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service. But there you go. There you go.
There you go, what?
What I just said. A disciple should always remember that by serving the spiritual master, he can easily advance in Krishna consciousness. And we happen to be sitting at the feet of the greatest spiritual master on the planet. I guess the universe. And I'd fight anyone that says otherwise. And we just happen to be in the place, as we keep saying, and we see this reminder in the pictures of so many, in one sense, externally anyway, disqualified people, extremely disqualified people that would come here, but simply in the faith of the Swamiji, you know, not really knowing the philosophy. Maybe when you started talking, they were like, what is it talking about? We're not your body, the three modes, or what? We got to do this. But they liked Prabhupada, you know? And yeah, for the Swami, yeah, we'll do this, yeah, we'll, you know, go here, we'll do that, whatever. So just for that, we can see what Prabhupada did. He made like, what did they say? Like swans out of swines.
It's usually swans out of crows.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe there's a swan out of a swine somewhere. Maybe there's a swan who drinks wine somewhere. I don't know.
But it's very powerful, and it's like those statements. And even if you don't fulfill it, like the fact that someone is willing to serve, you know, that is to their qualification.
Yeah, very powerful. Of course, I guess one has to follow the spiritual master very strictly. And it's interesting, this comes up again and again in Srila Prabhupada's books because it's the essence of our scripture. You have to enter into the Parampara system, you have to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, and you have to follow his instructions. But actually in the reading that we're doing in the Bhagavatam Rita, also this has kind of just come up where the Vaikuntha Vasis are describing to Gopakumar Prabhu that basically for one to reach Vaikuntha and enter into Vaikuntha and have a direct perception of the Supreme Lord and his abode, one the quick path, the fastest route, is to follow the orders of the spiritual master. And that's what Gopakumar actually did. He got a mantra from his guru and he just started trying to chant that mantra sincerely and seriously, and then periodically he kind of bumped into him, and then, but each time he would try to fulfill his orders. It wasn't like he served under him day in and day out for many, many years, but whenever he got the instruction, he would try to follow it. So, yeah, very powerful principle and point. The word Madhyarekshana is also significant in this verse. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained in his Sandarbha that the word Madhira means intoxicating. If one's eyes become intoxicated upon seeing the deity, he may be called Madhyarakshana. Queen Vaidarbhi's eyes were very enchanting, just as one's eyes are Madhyarakshana when engaged in seeing the temple deity. Unless one is an advanced devotee, he cannot fix his eyes on the deity in the temple. Interesting. Yeah, and I think it's an important point, and that, sometimes during deity greeting, it's like our eyes may be in so many different places thinking about so many different things, but actually we should go straight to the lotus feet of Krishna, have darshan of his lotus feet, observe whatever jewels have been placed there, observe the tulsi that is there, observe the positioning of his feet, and then slowly move up his ankles, his thighs, calves, and then thighs, and then his waist, and his lotus navel is there, and then we can move up into his chest, and then we see his arms and his flute, and then we come to his lotus face, and so this is the process of taking darshan. That not that we go straight to the face, or not that we kind of space out, stare at the backdrop, or stare at some point on the wall, but we actually gaze upon the deity with love and veneration. Yeah, and become intoxicated. That's interesting, that we're looking at the deity intoxicated, because we are having direct perception, which is something we were discussing this morning also in the morning Bhagavatam class. Yeah, so one is actually becomes intoxicated. Interesting point.
Text 35 and 36. In the province of Kulachala, there were rivers named Chandravasha, Tamrapani, and Vatodaka. King Malayadvaja used to go to those pious rivers regularly and take his bath there. Thus he purified himself externally and internally. He took his bath and ate bulbs, seeds, leaves, flowers, roots, fruits, and grasses, and drank water. In this way he underwent severe austerities. Eventually he became very skinny.
There you go. Here's your diet and exercise program.
Purport.
Purport.
We can definitely see that to advance in Krishna consciousness, one must control his bodily weight. I feel like Prabhupada attacking me.
That's interesting. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Right there.
If one becomes too fat, oh my Lord. If one becomes too fat, it is to be assumed that he is not advancing spiritually.
Wow. That's interesting.
Oh, I'm going to have to print this out and put it on my fridge.
Put it on the fridge. like That's where we go the most, to the fridge, right?
Yeah, because I do all the cooking and everything. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur severely criticized his fat disciples.
What?
What purport is this? The idea is that one who intends to advance in Krishna consciousness must not eat very much. Devotees used to go to forests, high hills or mountains on pilgrims, but such severe austerities are not possible in these days. One should instead eat only prasad and no more than required. According to the Vaishnava calendar, there are many fasts, such as Ekadashi and the appearance and disappearance days of God and his devotees. Appearance and disappearance days of God. All of these are meant to increase the fat. Cheapers are meant to decrease the fat within the body. So all of these days are meant to decrease the fat within the body, so that one will not sleep more than desired and will not become inactive and lazy. Overindulgence in food will cause a man to sleep more than required. This human form of life is meant for austerity, and austerity means controlling sex, food intake, etc. In this way, time can be saved for spiritual activity, and one can purify himself both externally and internally. Thus, both body and mind can be cleansed. Well,
I don't remember that purport ever.
no, I don't ever remember reading that. It's like it's just been added now while we're sitting here and Prabhupada's done some magical, mystical thing. I have to question that.
And what are you questioning exactly? That these days are meant just for fat reduction. I can put that on the next advertisement for the festival, for Nityananda Trayodasi. This day, coming here on this day, celebrating this day will help you to lose weight.
Well, if you don't. Because some people, I can eat this. Like, I'm fasting, but I'm eating fruit, and they have like a big trifle or something.
What? That sounded very trifling.
Anyway, I'm not sure what's happening here. But sometimes, right, due to life and bodily illness, and stress and challenges, one can put on weight, you know? And genetics and the way you're brought up and DNA and just the way the government and the way you're educated, like this.
That sounds like a lot of excuses. A lot of fall guys for the absolute truth. I mean, it is interesting how Srila Prabhupada here is equating a physical external appearance to being spiritually advanced. Now, in Nectar of Devotion, it describes as someone who is, I think there's like 3 or 4 symptoms of someone who is living a life of bad karma. If someone's like in debt, someone is ugly, someone is kind of, I don't know, born in maybe like a bad family. Anyway, there's some, if you know them, you can put them below. I can't remember them all, but basically I remember 2 of them. If you're ugly and if you're in debt,
You're ugly, you remember that one.
Then you're clearly suffering some bad karma.
Mm-hmm.
So,
bad health.
The
bad health was one of
maybe them. Sick. Yeah, being sick. That's true. Yeah. So, but the whole Nectar of Devotion seems to say that even if that is the case, one can still become spiritually advanced. I mean, otherwise we look at, like hypothetically, in the pastime of in Krishna's pastimes, Madhu Mangal is often described as being pudgy and chubby and likes to eat. Now, of course, he's very dear associate of Krishna.
Let's not go there.
So that's there. But also, just thinking, the Sudama Vipra, was extremely poor. I don't know if he was in debt, but he was extremely poor. Kolavecha Sridhar was extremely poor. So there are also poverty-stricken people that you think, well, how did you get so bloody poor? Must be some bad karma. But, not to equate necessarily karma, but Prabhupada is clearly saying here that it means that they're not spiritually advanced. And I'm really intrigued by this. And then he kind of purports that by explaining that not spiritually advanced means that they have a tendency to eat too much. So again, equating what appears to be kind of a material conclusion, when we know that there was actually in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, there was a point where he was eating an immense amount, and then someone criticized him for eating so much. Who was it? It was not Ramchandra Khan, but there was another personality who criticized him. I think it was the father of Amoga, I think. Maybe it was him. But anyways, who criticized him for eating so much. Anyway, that person wound up getting leprosy. So, now of course, that's God. And, Jagannath has his chapan bhog, he has his whatever it is, 57, 63 items each day.
Little fella.
But that's God. So God can obviously, now what about his devotees? Prabhupada encouraged in the beginning, that one should eat prasad up until the neck, until you waddle like a duck, things like that. So there are, and then of course there's other places of, about prasadam and the benefits of prasadam. So I find it very interesting that, and someone, of course, I'm going to say it out loud, but one disciple specifically of Srila Prabhupada became quite big, a very prominent disciple, guru, GBC, like that, and then I think Prabhupada told him to put on weight. And then somehow he was attacked by someone who tried to slit his throat, but he didn't die because he had put on so much weight that there was like fat there. Which goes back to the previous purport, which is how the order of the spiritual master can save us also. And of course Prabhupada knew what was going to happen and encouraged him to do that. But hypothetically, the point is that I guess according to nectar of instruction, that one shouldn't eat too much, that's atyahara prayashascha prajalponi yamagraha, that one should not overeat or over endeavor. So like that, then it's interesting. You have any more comments on fat people not being very spiritually advanced?
Yeah, I get it, because it's that when you see someone like that, you kind of think they're a bit of a sense enjoyer anyway.
Interesting.
And then you think, especially because the path that we follow is so stressing that we need to get to the point of controlling the tongue, controlling the mind and the senses and whatnot. So it is interesting that you tend to label or stereotype someone who's a bit big, they must be frivolous and enjoying in a certain way, and they're not. It's interesting because they do, like, some people think like that. And it's true. Yeah.
Well, this is a big topic. We would love to hear what you have to say about this. And of course, there is, as Bhava mentioned, there are situations where people are just medically, they have some challenge or disability that forces them to be like that. Of course, generally one might say yes, but if one becomes more strict with following a diet, eats only once a day, or does exercise in the kirtan, Prabhupada, but also the other thing, festivals, the whole purpose, Prabhupada, wasn't it literally, he says, he said,
decrease the fat.
Yeah, there are many fast days such as Ekadasi and the appearance and disappearance days.
Next sentence, all of these are meant to decrease.
Yeah, all of these are meant to decrease the fat within the body so that one will not sleep more than desired and will not become inactive and lazy. So these things can be taken also. One is inactive and lazy or oversleeps.
Yeah, you label that person as a bit like slow and yeah, lazy, you know,
Yeah.
clearly. But they may not be, and someone who's skinny may be like doing nothing
Absolutely.
in their life, you know.
That is totally
Which I know
true.
a few people like that.
Me too. Thank you very much. Please comment below. Remember, you can also subscribe and share and
Comment.
like. I said comment already. Like was the last one you did. Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.